So beautiful. So weird. The effect's not quite the same on film. So we're on our way in a snowstorm to go try to find someone that's lost in the woods. You'll say a prayer. Our verse tonight is from 3 John, chapter 1, verse 2. Beloved, I pray that all may go well with you and that you may be in good health as it goes well with your soul. And we'll pray. Father, we thank you. Every day is a good day. We thank you for this channel. We thank you for the people that we meet here. We thank you for our guests. We thank you for your provision and your protection. Lord, we pray your hand of covering over the broadcast tonight and over all those in the Bigfoot, what is called the Bigfoot community, Lord, whether they feel a part of it or not. There's an extra pressure and tension that goes with it. And Lord, we pray that you will bring peace and just a calm, and that people will just go about their ways and leave each other alone if they don't agree with each other, and that there's enough room for everybody, Lord. We thank you. We thank you for our guest tonight, and we're excited, and we love you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. We have several Facebook channels. I'm Lead Tracker E, and this is Jerry Williams, also known as Lead Horse Choctaw. Our Facebook pages are the Oklahoma Bigfoot Predator Watch, Antlers and Surrounding Areas. And then we have the Lead Tracker E Facebook page. We have the the Predator Bigfoot and the Spiritual Warriors Path Facebook page, and the Missing and Murdered Woman, WOMBMAN and Sons Center and Database. We have a book called Predator Bigfoot and the Spiritual Warriors Path. That's what our book is, that group is based on. And that's really what this channel, the focus of what we teach is what comes out of that book here in this channel.
The DVD, Oklahoma Bigfoot Predator Watch, Antlers and Surrounding Areas. Also, we've lowered that to $55 instead of $101. Also, that the new book, Predator Bigfoot and the Spiritual Warrior's Path. We have no idea why, but we're glad, but the price is $10.54 right now on Amazon. Right now it is. We have no idea why they haven't came into our side of the deal, but they're so right now would be the best time to grab that book, and you can grab a couple at $10. Give it to your entire family, your friends, people that you know has activity or needs to need some answers that will help them. I see a shadow here, but I'll fix that in just a minute. But it is only $10 on Amazon right now, but the DVD also has been lowered to $55, so we can get it out to more people. And it's not a normal documentary DVD. It has Predator Bigfoots in there, where to find their locations. We were inside those locations, places we wouldn't want anyone going to, but we showed you where they are and what they look like, and a lot of more instructional information in there for everyone to learn from. It will, and it already has saved lives, not just the documentary, but the book has also with the information and knowledge in it. The new book, um, well, actually, that's the new book and the documentary. Now we have.
This is a segment that we have on the Lead Tracker E YouTube channel. It's called Tracking Miracles and Encounters. And if you have taken notice of God's hand in your life and how he has helped you through a situation, through divine orchestration, divine protection, divine intervention, it can take all kinds of forms, but if you know for sure that's why you're still standing today and you have a story that you want to share about that, that's the segment that we would like to do it on. So get a hold of us for that.
Also, Standing Feather Stories.
This is a series that I actually asked him to do because there are so many stories. He was the last man standing at Standing Rock, and that was just kind of where the stories focused on at first, and now there's just it's about the journeys, the walking across America. There's just so many behind the scenes First Nations stories that we never heard on the news, that we didn't know about, that are an important part of history. And we all know that the news is being rewritten constantly. And so it's really neat to get a behind the scenes perspective on what really happened in some of these major events throughout our lives. So that's what that series is about.
Also coming now is, arriving soon is the new Spanish translated book and the new Predator book, Vessels of Hope versus Agents of Darkness. The Spanish version book, Pa Grande el Predador y el Sendero del Guerrero y Spiritual. And that is the new Spanish version book. It's not yet completed, but it will be very soon because we found a little free time to.
The book is finished, but the translation is not complete yet.
I'm sorry. That book is finished. We're just waiting on the translation. The new book that we're working on.
We're almost done, but there's still more to add.
Vessels of Hope versus Agents of Darkness. That is the new book, and that is a very faith-based book to help people understand the spiritual war, things that we haven't, that our parents didn't know, that we're going to be sharing so that everyone knows there's a deeper spiritual aspect to these predators. It's not a good thing, but we share that in the book, and things that you can do to really, really get your protection, to get your armor on. Let's see. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, we have Patreon. You can become a member and get some of these updates and some videos that we haven't put on YouTube here. There you get the updates on the meetings, the courses, the new courses that we put out, and the new tracking courses whenever we're ready for the next class, videos, live tracks. It's just a place where you get your information before we give it here. Also, the Cash App and the PayPal is in the description. And we also have Super Chat and Super Thanks, which is very helpful, and it does help us out. And everything is appreciated. The other day we did a scout, which, of course, that costs us gas money, time, and everything like that. But people have been helping with the gas and everything. So we share those videos of what to look for, what's there, and what we can see. We're just helping other people recognize these structures and ambush areas. But even that, the gas and the oil and everything like that still cost. But with everyone's help, it has not affected us. And that's the main thing, that it hasn't affected us. As now it used to, but because no one knew us and we was just doing everything on our own. But thanks to Patreon members and the super chat, and it is greatly appreciated.
We do appreciate it. We just got,
we
just got through seeing a lot of stuff going on in Beavers Bend Park, and we wouldn't have been able to go over there. So we do appreciate it.
The training course, the Warriors Tracker training course, is complete. It's been terminated. I don't have the certificates in my hand. They're
on the way. Are they
no, the ones we have.
Oh, but do you want to show those?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I can't remember what we did with them.
I put them on.
Oh, okay. So tomorrow night, the Trackere training, the new trackers. Tomorrow night, we're going to be having our first get together. We're going to have 4 before our first official meeting. Tomorrow night, we're going to be sharing, saying hello to the ones who are going to be staying with us, and also saying goodbye to people who just want. There's a couple like that just wanted the information to go through the course and to learn what we were sharing. We'll be saying goodbye to them, but we still have a month. We're going to be going over protocols of the meetings, what we expect. We got a guest coming in tomorrow to give an example of a report. So that's a bonus for the new candidates to see exactly how we need that done. But also tomorrow, this one actually is
War Chiefs,
but these are in. We're going to be signing these, but these are the ones that we're going to be keeping. The certificates for the new trackers will have a little bit more information on these, but they're all going to be signed and everything. So we're going to be doing these signing of these tomorrow, which we're going to be keeping these. These stay with us
some better ones
as our graduates, and then we also have another set that's coming in. It should be here. If they deliver tomorrow, it'll be here before the stream, but if not, it'll be on Monday. But we do have the first ones in, and we will have the rest in by Monday. But those will be sent out.
Proud of you.
So we've got 13 right now, but we have the chance to have 15.
2 more are finishing up.
Also, we're adding new field reporters, and if you'll explain that.
That is just for people that we do know well enough to trust what they tell us, that they're not just making something up.
Report, yeah.
You'll be assigned a number, and basically if something is really happening in your area that there is a cause of concern for, such as missing people, missing pets, a lot of new structures around, animal attacks, drownings, unexplained things that could possibly be caused by these predators, then we want to know about it, and we would like you to call in. So you'll be assigned a number, and it will just be a as needed sort of thing. If there's something that we haven't heard from you in a long time, or if there's just something that you want to report that was strange in your area, then you would call in and say, this is field reporter number 62, whatever the number might be. I have a report, just a brief report, and boom, you're out of there. But we can log it down and see more patterns developing.
And we're going to have every now and then we're going to have an open live stream for all the field reporters to come in. It'll be a special thing. Well, I mean, it'll be a stream all its own. Field reporters check in or field reporters report. That's when you'll come into the stream and we will know you by your number. Don't give any numbers right now. We're not looking at the chat or anything. Right now, we'll get to comments in just a moment, but
That's it for your safety.
yeah, don't give us your numbers yet, especially if we know you. We're just going to take that number, but if we don't know you, you will need someone to vouch for you that does know us, or I don't know.
We want to make sure nobody's just calling in with just something that would make us trust you.
Yeah, or know you actually.
Just so that that's it. Someone we
and also we're going
the same way we got the students in the Trackere class.
Yeah,
someone vouched for them in so that we don't get any false information and worry people for nothing, or discredit that there's something going on in an area when there really is.
There's some people out there that we know who have activity at their homes who we wish we could be with you. And like we said, this book is only $10.54 on Amazon right now. And it's the quickest way to help you. There's one person that we're going to be sending the book to as soon as we go to the post office officially. We have been in town, but we've been doing some things, and it's hard to catch that post office at a certain time. Sometimes we're coming in right at dark or heading out before dawn. So, but we will get that book to you. That is for a Lakota person in South Dakota. But right now, if you have the means, I would be getting a $10 book from Amazon with this much information that has saved lives already, and will save more with the more people who know. Okay, this is a Trackere channel. This is not an open forum. This is a channel for updates, interviews, Trackere lessons, tracking, videos, Trackere check-ins, now field report check-ins, meetings, and Trackere training course candidates. When we have the course, we want to communicate with them here also. This was officially designed for about 10 trackers so we could communicate with each other, but we have grown and a lot more people wanted to know what we was sharing and helping with. We welcome everybody. But again, we do have monitors, axes, tomahawks, swords, there are so many different weapons that the monitors use themselves. It's like 2 axes or swords or tomahawks, knives, and things. So, but the monitors understand that we're here to listen to the guests, or that we're giving a lesson, or we're having a meeting and we're exchanging information. It's not an open forum channel. It's not where we have chit-chatting in the comments. And the monitors know that if you do start doing that, or starting about other channels, or starting other topics or anything, that they're just going to delete you. And we ask them to do that because we need to stay on topic, and we need everyone who's here to learn to stay on topic with us. So like for example, we don't color what the new coat color red is, even though it's a little off from what I understand from another channel. So monitors, you have your orders, I guess to say. The comments will be read right after this, and sometimes we have a break, or the guest may want to have some questions before we move on to another section or another story that will relate to that. And we will also have the comments at the very end. So We answer the questions related to the topic or the lesson or the guest interview. For example, if we're talking about a regular track, if we're talking about ridges and waves and blowouts and things like that, those are the questions we want because that's topic related. We don't want to talk about frequency, even though it does relate to it. It's still in the same ballpark, but it's another section or another topic. So here at the very end, we will answer the questions related to the topic. So we will get to lead trackers.
We get to tell y'all hi.
Lead Trackere's, and this is where we get to say hi.
We do love to.
And we just have to say that at the
Visit with you
beginning,
guys. Yeah.
just so everybody knows.
We just want to make sure nobody misses any important information from guests or lessons. That's the gist of it.
Yeah.
We've got Lorna here. Let's see. I can do this on my phone.
Okay.
Too.
Okay.
Hey, Lorna.
Lorna.
And T Carp is here.
T Carp.
Carp, how are you? Says, let's go.
T Carp wants to go.
Lorna's saying hi. War Chief is here. Hey,
War Chief. All right.
Cube is here.
Cube.
Truth Walker is now was Southpaw.
Oh,
Southpaw
okay.
is now Truth Walker.
Hey, I like that name.
Yeah, we like that name.
Oh, that's such a great name.
That's good. We just got to get used to it.
Mm-hmm. That's such a great name.
Let's see.
TKRP is what's going on with everybody.
Everybody greeting everybody. T Carp says, thank you for your prayer because I don't feel a part of it yet. So much has been given to me. Don't feel a part of the group or the prayer covers you too. But anyway, welcome. Glad you're here.
Yeah.
Let's see. More greetings.
Cubinator says, faith-based is the basis of all tracking. That's right.
The Bible's the best tracking book ever.
Another topic we'll talk about a little way.
War Chief says Beavers Bend State Park is where I had my encounter in 1974. Yeah,
it sure is. And if you haven't heard that story, it's on here, but it's on a couple more channels.
And it's on this. It's on this channel in live streams, and it's got that. Do we have that photo? Would it show? And it will have. We'll put up the thumbnail and. And you want to listen to that episode for sure.
Look, that shadow's off. Yeah. No more shadow. Okay. No more shadow.
Unknown is here saying 100%.
Unknown. Lead Trackere's in the room says hello. Hi, everyone.
Cube says battle axe is sharp and ready, raring to go.
Oh, that reminds me. Monitors, remind me that after this we need to talk.
War Chief says the old tomahawk is very sharp tonight.
Hey, there we go.
JR's here.
And these monitors don't play.
Truth Walker's happy with her name too.
Oh, good.
And everybody else likes it. So caught up.
The thing we was going to talk about was, just real fast. Our guest should be here at 7:40, so about 7 more minutes. He will be here, but I was just going to say the other night we left the chat open, the live chat on accident, which was my fault. But one of our main monitors, War Chief, was actually in the stream with us, sharing information. So we don't know why there was so much chit-chatting in the room. And I didn't even think about it. One of them was actually one of our monitors, Cubinator. I just thought about that. But we actually had to type in there that there's no chit-chatting, which that's supposed to be the job of the monitors. And a little while later, War Chief had to type in there also, which he was a part of the forum. And he had to go and also stop people from chit-chatting. But the questions and everything at the very end for the guest or for the lesson is what we're looking for. most of the time we're not even looking at the comment section. We're on what is called the brand, which is showing where the videos and the photos are that we use for the guest. We're on that stream. That's what we see. So we don't see the chit chatting going on until, we may go back to it because we'll see it building up and we're going, why is it building up? So we'll go and look at it. Then we'll see a couple of things. And thank you, Cubinator. But also with our monitors, we need you here every time. And if you can't make it here every time, let us know. There's a lot of people who want to volunteer and help out. They say they have shotguns, they have mallets, huge mallets, they have huge those Thor hammers ready to go. And they said that whenever they get a spot, they're ready to go too. So, but we love our monitors right now. We don't want to lose any of them or any of y'all. But let's just make sure we're there and we keep the hellos to a minimum. It's good saying hello to each other when you come into the room, but just listen to what the interview is about and who the information that's being shared. And that's all we ask. So we're actually free with all that. Now that's out of the air.
Strict. The only last thing I want to say is it may seem we're just way too hardcore on that. And the only reason is because we have literally had it happen that someone's learned something on our channel. And then the very next night had to apply it in a dangerous situation.
More than
so
once.
We don't want anybody to miss anything. That's it. And every now and then we'll try to do just a free night where we can just all visit because we love that too. We love you guys and we have fun talking to you too. So
and everyone who was going to help with the field reporting, send us a number in an email or a messenger, but not here.
If we can accommodate your favorite number, we will. And otherwise, you send us a couple choices in order of preference.
And we're already getting numbers from everywhere. So we appreciate all the information that you're helping. So we've got about 3 minutes left. So would you or me like to introduce our gentleman for the
You
go right ahead. Well, this is our Bob.
This is our friend.
This is Bob from Canada. He actually found Lead Tracker E through Scott Carpenter's live stream channel. I don't know if it's a podcast or
Facebook page.
And Facebook page. And he is actually one of the admin for Sasquatch Awareness Project, which was with Scott Carpenter. He's doing the admin with Travis Carpenter. So if you're over there, go and check them out. Also on that channel, a lot of good stuff. I haven't been over there, but before I used to check out some of the videos and everything. A lot of good work over there. So,
and we're very glad that Bob, after Scott crossed over, the channel started getting taken over by bots and bad things, and Bob did his best to keep that kind of stuff off of it and to just try to keep pushing to get them to keep that channel moving. And we're very glad that Travis, if you do listen to this, or Bob, let him know that you have revamped the channel, kept it going, because it really is a treasure, and we're very thankful for that, to both of you for that. So Jim is in the room from Life's Adventures.
Hey, how are you doing, Jim? How are you doing? We're just waiting on our guest.
We're waiting for Bob.
So can we talk about anything? Or?
We sure can. So if you do want to chat, keep it this channel related. But,
and until our guest
arrives, we can chat all you want in the chat, and we will talk until our guest gets here.
I know it sounds like a drill sergeant saying, dig the
We've
hole
seen
over there.
so much trouble in other channels, and we've had it in ours a few times, and it didn't take much to get tired of it and nip it in the bud before it ever gets started too much.
Yeah, we're saying, oh, Jim is saying, what's Jim saying here? What's Jim saying?
Jim says, I'm doing good so far, working too much to make a video. I've got so many interesting areas I want to explore, just don't have the time to.
We understand that.
Yeah. We're sure glad it's spring though, and looking forward. We've been outside working on the garden and chomping at the bit to get back out there in the woods ourselves.
Yeah, so all the trackers, get your gardens going. Get those medicines that you know you need to grow in there. What's his name? Julian Williams. If you have an opportunity to watch this, send us your birthday and month, not the year, just a birthday and month, and we're going to tell you what minerals to take. We're sorry that we've been wanting to do a healing stream again, but we've been trying to finish up with the Trackere course and start the new one. But we really want to do a healing session for everybody again. But all the trackers know how to heal people now, so you have a multitude of people also to help you. But Julian, if you hear this, just let us know, or send us. We're both on Facebook. Send us a message there, or in the comments also somehow where we can contact you. But you don't have to put a phone number out right now, but just when you can.
Would you mind talking about when we went to Broken Bow? Why we went?
So since we have a little time, we actually there's now this story goes back to the first eclipse line that went over, and now the second one is coming over for the crossing, which the new virus is called X and all that. But we went over to scout out Broken Bow, right where all this is supposed to happen. The light is supposed to be at the peak right there. So we went out there to scout to see what was going to happen, because people on the internet were talking about military and state troopers and things like that. So we went to go scout out some areas, but we also went to go see about parks, beaches, swim areas, picnic areas, places where people fly fish and things like that, just to look around. We found a multitude of structures all over the place over there. So, that's even a big thing too, because these things do like to come out at night. So Broken Bow is going to have 100,000, but we heard 100,000 to 400,000. Mm-hmm. But even having 100,000, say there's only 25,000 kids out there making noise. Everyone's got a pet. There's pets everywhere. Campfires. Everybody's coming in for that. So for even in the middle of the day, where everyone's going to be out, in the middle of the day, it's going to be pitch dark. And these predators are right there at the park where we were. If you watch that video, it's called, it's a video on our channel called Eclipse, Bigfoot, and Broken Bow. But you'll see the structures that are just right there on the picnic areas, the fishing areas, everywhere. That place is strategically got blinds everywhere. So if you are going that way, which I don't recommend, make sure you're with your vehicle and you are protected.
And that you watch that video and watch just your campsite. When you're selecting your campsite or your picnic area, look around, and if you see the structures like what are in the video, and we'll put the link in the comments, if you see the pull downs and the blinds, don't go there, don't camp there, don't stay there. Just go find another clear spot where you've got a good line of vision far away from you. and plenty of room. So that means you've got opportunity to protect yourself if any sort of predator comes out of the woods. Predator humans can use these blinds. Predator, any predator in the woods, natural or unnatural. I'm gonna get the link real quick.
Oh yeah, did y'all did see in the video of where we pulled up and we said, well, that's a perfect ambush area right there.
That was funny.
Yeah,
funny but not funny.
Funny but not funny.
Timely.
But if you've been in that tracker course, you know what we're talking about. And just like the tracking course, we went exactly where these strategic blinds would be. And we said, well, there's a great place for it. We zoomed in and they were crouched right in there waiting for the next person to come down through there. But thank you, Truth Walker. And they were right on the picnic tables.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my good!
And it wasn't just one of them, and everywhere that there was something major going on, where the people hang out a lot, where a lot of little boats are, the kayaks, the different little activity areas. Look around those, especially for the blinds. And
what is this right here?
Just have awareness. The link that I just put up is the video to the that we're talking about at Broken Bow.
I would actually try to I would actually try to put it up here, but it's 18 minutes and we don't want to wait 18 minutes because our guest may be here sooner than that. And I'm sure he will be. But yeah, we went scouting and the people were told to get your shots, get your dogs vaccinated a month before the eclipse to be ready for this. And also that they have a chemical and biological unit that's going to be in Hayward, I believe, which is a few miles just outside of Broken Bow. This is actually a shadow of Lead Tracker E taking a picture. You can see your shadow there. I'll put this up here.
This is stuck inside the window. They're going around to the authorities. They're going around to all the businesses and putting these flyers in there and making the employees and the business owners very nervous. Almost every single employee that we talked to in the little businesses, and we did stop in several, are just flat scared and not going to come into work on that day, on the 8th of April, because they're afraid of the number of people that are expecting, and because of how many warnings they keep getting from authorities coming in there. And what they're saying is that several of the business owners will be in their business, but the business won't be open. They will be in there waiting just in case there are looters. But the people in the town are scared because of the reaction all around them of the authorities and on the news. And so let's pray for calm over the area too, and that people behave. People can be unpredictable, especially when amped up. So our guest is here.
All right, so everyone, let's pay attention. Let's listen, and remember, there's a difference between listening and hearing. So listening is when you're listening to the person that's sharing the information, attentive, focused, and hearing is playing the TV, playing on the internet, playing something else. You're not paying attention. So,
or telling your own stories in the chat.
Yeah, or thinking how this relates to you.
Which is great in a lot of chat groups. Love it in other chat groups. Just for here, listen to Bob.
And hold your questions until the end, and then we'll have all those answered. So let's welcome Bob. How are we doing, Bob? It's been a while.
Yeah, doing good.
You got a mustache.
Yeah.
All right.
It comes and goes.
How are you doing, Bob?
Good.
We're, you know how we work. We are just pretty much going to turn the floor over to you. We've given you a basic introduction, but you're absolutely welcome to fill in however you like and catch us up on what's going on.
And we do have some photos that we'll save, and then we'll ask you that also in a little.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess the way this starts is it actually started probably 30 years ago. Over the years, I've just had weird stuff happen out in the woods. Like I had a forestry job and I worked all over British Columbia from Vancouver Island to like northern BC, and you know, different contracts and that. And the first time it ever happened, I guess, was around 1991, I guess. I was on a fly-in job north of Mackenzie, British Columbia, which is about 2 hours north of Prince George, which is one of the biggest towns up in northern BC. And, you know, we flew out there to this logging camp, and the only way to go in was all the vehicles went in on a barge up a big man-made lake called Wilson Lake, and then the crew would fly in by plane. And it was at the end of May, and it was really hot, and I was tree planting on a cut block, and I was down on the bottom side of a road, probably about 100 feet from the tree line. And it was about 1:15 in the afternoon. And there wasn't any real breeze. But then when I noticed this breeze came up, it hit the back of my neck, and I was sweating because it was really hot. And so I noticed the breeze right away. So I was just enjoying that. And then I was listening to the leaves in the aspen trees rustling, and I could hear these birds chirping in the trees. And then just out of nowhere, all of a sudden, it was just like a light switch. Everything stopped. The birds, the wind, and then there was this sound over my head, like it was like a tuning fork. And I stopped planting, I looked up and was like, what the heck is that? And it went on for about 30 seconds, and then it stopped, and the wind started again, and the birds started again. And I just finished planting out what trees I had in the bag and headed back up to the road. And I walked down to the guy that was about 500 yards down from me, and I didn't want to say anything about that because, you know, they would just think I was nuts. So I just asked him, you know, did you hear anything or see anything like a little while ago? And he said, no, I didn't hear anything. So I just, you know, chalked that up in the back of my head somewhere and went back to work and never told anybody about it on the crew. And then it was probably several years after that that I had something else happen just locally here. In 2019, I was at a real big provincial park in the wintertime with my dog. And, you know, at this point I'd found out about Missing 411, and I read a bunch of those books, and I didn't, you know, nobody really knew what was happening with people. The people were going missing all over national parks throughout the US and Canada. And I was in touch with David Paulides, and being at the park out there in early March, there was still a lot of snow on the ground, and there was no one else in the park because I passed one car coming out, and I knew that park really well. And when I got to that waterfall site, there was nobody else there. The first thing I noticed that was strange when I opened the door of the vehicle was the ground was shaking. And I'd been there several times, and I didn't, and because it was winter, I thought, well, maybe it's, the volume of water coming off the falls and big piece of ice or something. So I just ignored it, walked to the platform, took a few pictures. I had my little dog with me, and he was older, so I was carrying him, and I was walking along the fence line. And then, after so many steps, this one step I took, I felt dizzy, like it was vertigo, and I was spinning down the hole. That's what it felt like. And I thought, wow, what is that? And then the next step I took, it got even stronger. So, like David Paulides had always recommended that if you're in the woods, to be out of the woods by 3:00, because there seemed to be a big uptick of disappearing people between 3 and 5 in the afternoon. And here I was, it was 4:30. So I just thought, I don't know what this is, but I'm getting out of here. And I just headed right for the car and left. So that's just another incident. I just put that in the back of my head. I did get hold of Dave, and I told him what happened. And he said, well, sorry if you're not feeling well. And my reaction was, there's nothing wrong. I don't even have a runny nose. So then I think it was the same year, be 2019, I was fishing at a lake. It's about 25 miles from me here. It was early April, maybe the first week of April. And I was out there at this lake, just casting off the shore. And my dog was, running around sniffing and that. And it was getting like 7:30, starting to get dusk. And I heard this strange sound. It was like a big bird flying towards me, like huge flapping wings. And I was aware of that, and I was looking around. I looked across the road at the tree line and thought, well, there's a big bird coming, and at any minute it's going to fly overhead. So, 10 minutes goes by, nothing comes over. So here again, I was like, wow, this is weird. I don't know what this is. It's getting dusk. Again, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to hang around for this. So I left, and then I'd been up this road. It was a logging road up in the TFL, and TFL means tree farm license. This is where all the logging companies got their contracts to cut timber. So I'd gone up this road up there a year or two before that, and it was odd. I came at the very bottom of the entrance of the logging road. There was a tree across the road. So at that time, I didn't have anything with me, a chainsaw or anything. So the next time I went up, I took a chainsaw and I cut it off the road, and I headed up because I like to explore my areas. And I didn't know what was up that road. So I cut the tree off the road, and then I got up a few hundred feet, and then there was another one down. So I cut that one off and so on. And I went through like 8 trees till I got some way up, a couple miles up the road. And then again, I see another tree across the road ahead after cutting 8, and I thought, I'm not cutting anymore. So I turned around and went back. And so this last spring, in January, I found Scott Carpenter's channel. And I started taking interest in what he was talking about. Like anybody, I knew about Sasquatch and that, but it wasn't really a topic that interested me that much. Never read a lot of books on it. So last spring I got interested in it, and then as I started watching more of Scott's channel, I started thinking about what he was saying. And I think he'd said, they'll push trees down in the way and put obstacles up to keep you out of an area. So I started thinking about that road up in the TFL, and I thought, that was really strange. I'm going to go up there and have a look. So I went up there, and I found a weird tree structure up there that, to me, it just didn't look normal. It was like a teepee structure, all pushed together over top of about a 25-foot fir tree. So I took a picture of that, and then, being on Scott's Facebook group, I started looking through, like, he had his likes open so I could see. I was interested in who he was following. And then I saw, a name, Lead Trackere, and I thought, well, who's this? So I started looking at her page, and then I thought, wow, this is interesting. These people seem to know quite a bit about this. And so it just caught my interest, and I think I sent you a message and started following you a bit. And then it led to Jerry's channel, and then I started looking at what you guys are doing, and I thought, wow, this is what I need. You guys got a lot of answers to perplexing questions.
Thank you.
So I got hold of you too, and we started talking, and then I followed you a bit, and Jerry and I started talking, and I told him about this area, and I sent him some photos, and he said to me, wow, you got Predator Bigfoot right in these photographs. So, of course, the next question I had was, man, how do you see that? So then he started telling me how he looks at these photos, and I learn real fast. And once I got the idea about shadow language, then I could see what he was saying, and I could see these things in the photographs. So, of course, some of this stuff was just strange. Like, I had a picture of a tree with eyeballs looking at me from the tree bark. And so, consider that a hot spot. And then coming up June 21st, the summer solstice, Jerry let us all know, go into a known active area, and at 12 noon, blast your horn for 4 seconds, just to let them know that you're aware. So I said to Jerry, well, I'll do one better than that. I'm going to take my shotgun with me and give a few blasts just to let them know that I got their attention. So I did that, and I got their attention all right, because I think that was the day that I took my chainsaw with me. And, one of the episodes of Survivorman Bigfoot, Wes Stroud and Scott had got together in Scott's research area in the Smoky Mountain National Park. And one of the things that was odd about that episode is Scott had taken 2 small trees, and he took some electrical tape, and he made a cross out of this, and he stuck it in a stump. And then when Les and him got there one day, it had been taken apart, the cross. So I thought, I took stuff like my saw and a rope and everything, and I thought, well, if this is how they react, I'm going to see what they do if I pound that in front of their tree stand. So I lashed myself a crucifix together and had an axe and made a cross and pounded it right in front of their tree stand. And at the time, looking at all this,
Oh, man.
I couldn't see anything there. It looked like I was the only person there.
No,
But,
really, 100%.
But then I found out later that, pardon me?
As soon as you started talking about the cross, we lost signal.
Oh, okay.
So will you start there, please?
Yeah, I made a crucifix with my chainsaw and put it all together with a rope, so I held it together, and I pounded it into the ground with an axe right in front of their teepee structure. And I blasted my shotgun into the teepee structure a few times and one of the things I had said down at the bottom of the road when I shot my shotgun that day was stay out of our towns, because there's been people that have gone missing in this area. And I'm pretty confident that somehow they've been behind these disappearances. So I pounded that into front of their TB structure, and before I left that day, they hit me with a torrential rainstorm before I left that road. The rain came down on me so hard. I had so much mud on the vehicle, it took me an hour to wash it all off when I got home. So, so then, over the summer, last summer, I would go back up in there and take photos, and I got on my back trail camera, I have video shots of what it looked like up there. And I was sure that there was a tree that hadn't been pushed down. And then when I had looked at my video, I was right. There was a live birch tree that had been pushed down on that road, and it was kind of overhanging the ditch. And then, so I'd noticed that it was down, and I got a picture of it being down. And then the next time I'd gone up, it had been broken in half. So this is not an active hauling road anymore. So that tree, it was pushed down, then it was broken. And I could see these as signs that they were leaving for me. And then one day when I was up there, they even left me a footprint there was a whole bunch of pine needles, and it was hard packed dry soils, but I could see where he stood on and shifted his weight onto the right foot, and then ground the left one into the ground to make a footprint. So I'd been thinking, if they didn't want me to know that they were there and they're as elusive as everybody says they are, then they're leaving me signs to let me know that they are here. So I'm thinking, why would they do that? So I never cast that or anything. It didn't seem like there was really much to cast because it was on hard packed soil. But I got a photo of it. And then I learned about, how the Bigfoot and the ravens work together. A lot of predator birds work with the larger predators to identify things that the larger predator can take down that they can't. And so I started noticing a lot of raven activity around. And one of the things, like we can talk about in a while, is I think there's something to do with their ability. Like, the Bigfoot has supernatural powers, and I've seen these in action. So I'm suspicious that they have the ability to shapeshift or to use animals in a way as their eyes and ears. I've had strange things happen around here with ravens and cranes, and then one day there was 2 ravens circling around the house, and my mom was outside and she saw them, and I knew what they were doing when they were circling and making noise. They were looking for me. So I didn't come out from under the deck so they could see me. And there was another incident where there was a large crane on a tree outside, standing like up on a branch, and usually don't see them away from lakes or rivers, So that was odd to me, because when I walked out my door, it flew away. And the ravens get up here and they perch on the top of trees, and they're calling to each other. And whenever I see them, I'm out there shooting at them and trying to drive them off.
Bob, your profession was in forestry, right? Or
Yeah.
Would you explain that a little bit? What, so they know you're not just a newbie out there in the woods?
Yeah, like I'd spent 10 years in forestry, doing all kinds of things, brushing contracts, falling, tree planting, slash burning, firefighting. So, I started that in around 1989, and I worked on the North Coast, which is out around Prince Rupert Terrace area. And I grew up in the woods as a kid, running around in the ravine back of my house and exploring the caves out in my neighborhood and that. And my dad had a plane, so we did a lot of flying into the interior. We knew an old cattle rancher that had come up from Wyoming in 1929, and he had a place called the Home Ranch up in the Chilcotin area, which is between Williams Lake and Bella Coola. So Pan was a really cool cowboy, and I remember as a kid, seeing some of the local natives come into his ranch that he was friends with, and they were people that still lived, traditional ways. They had feathers in their hair, and they lived out there. So I've had a lot of experience in the wilderness in British Columbia. And so when I started tree planting, I started to develop a sense about nature and my surroundings that was like a sixth sense. Because when you're out there, you got black bears, cougars, grizzlies, and I always just as a natural instinct, I would listen to my surroundings and notice which way the wind was blowing and listen to the birds and any other little critters, because they can be an indication of other predators around. And that's one of the things myself and Gabriel and the local native band talked about last month. He was telling me how his grandfather would establish these relationships with the squirrels and the mice and the birds because they can be an alarm system for you. So I kind of learned that early in my forestry career. And it served me well, like I missed encounters with grizzly bears a few times that way.
Yeah. Have you noticed a change in anything, say in the last 10 years in the forest, 5 years, 2 years? Have you noticed a change, and what, if so?
Well, the change for me is these predators are making themselves known to more and more people. Yeah. I've got a friend here in town, and he cuts cedar for a living. He's out in the woods all the time. I just saw him last week in the grocery store, and I told him about what I was doing over the last year, tracking, and I told him I want to show you the photographs I have. And when I saw him last week, he was telling me that he was out a few weeks ago and in the woods looking for some cedar to take down, and he's got something paralleling him in the woods and pushing trees down behind him. So I got to get together with him and teach him, what to watch out for and how to be more aware, and also how to use his spiritual protection just to keep him safe. Yeah, because that's what I do now. Every time I go out, I make sure that I say a protection prayer before I'm out there. And like I told you guys last week when I talked to you on the phone, I flushed these ones out in the park, because I saw these structures up there after I never went back to the other site up in the TFL, because there was a there was a lot of trouble up there last summer. You know, I was up there on July the 9th, and you know, I learned a lot about what happened that day. You know, that when you go out, you have to make sure that you have no open thresholds and that there's nothing available that this dark energy can latch onto. Because when I was coming back out of there that day, I rolled my vehicle off the road twice into the trees. And I was lucky I didn't get hurt. So, and that was an incident where I saw their ability, their supernatural ability in action. Because when I came out of the site in the TFL that day and I went off the road and rolled into the trees, there was a guy coming behind me on a motorcycle, and he saw the skid marks go off the bank, so he knew that I'd gone down, and he stopped, and thank God he helped me. He gave me a ride home on the back of his motorbike, and he tried to get some person in a car that was coming by to give me a ride, and he told me, he said, I guess I said the wrong thing to her. I said, "Oh, just wait a minute, he's got to get his shotgun out of the car," and she fled. And so, you know, she just said, "Oh, I'm busy," and she drove away, and he was mad about that. He thought, you know, if that happened to you, lady, you would have wanted help.
You could see that the car was wrecked.
Yeah, kind of see her point of it too.
You both, but
two guys. Yeah, hold on, let us get our shotgun.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, who really wrecked that car? And is that even their car?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, oh boy.
You know. So I got home, and my mom's asking me, "Where's the car?" And I said, and she's like, "What?" She's having a flip out about that, and I said, "Don't worry about it. We'll get another car." I just about died, Mom. Take it easy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know, I was so lucky. All I had was a scratch on my arm, and you know, the steering wheel beat me up a little bit. My legs were sore and everything, but I was so lucky with the windows blowing out. I never got any glass in my eyes or anything.
Yeah.
And you know, I ended up laying on the passenger side. The vehicle was flipped onto the passenger side, so I was, how do I get out of this? And I got out the door behind my driver's seat, and then so I made it up to the road, and I got home and picked up my truck, and I was kind of in shock because I didn't know what to do. I phoned I didn't want to talk to the insurance company right away because I didn't want to say the wrong thing. So then when I finally did talk to them, they said, "Oh yeah, you got a year to report that accident."
Oh wow.
I thought it was like 24 hours, like it usually.
Oh wow.
So the wildlife in that area, has it changed at all? What's the situation there? Is it still abundant, or
In the up in the TFL in that area where they are?
anywhere around you?
Well, down here around town and that in the neighborhoods, there's still a lot of deer down here, and birds and squirrels and everything.
Okay, good.
I think that
Do you see any signs in your town behind dumpsters or, you know, hotels, restaurants, anything like that? Have you noticed anything going on there?
I haven't seen too much. I did look around the elementary school to see if there was any pull downs. I didn't see anything there.
Good. Okay. Well, that's a good sign. There's still plenty going on up in the woods.
Yeah, there's a lot of dogs barking at night, and they're, you know, weird coyotes over in the distance, and I just wonder, you know, is that really coyotes?
Yeah. How about animal attacks in the area? Do you hear of anything like that going on?
I haven't heard too much, no.
Good. Okay.
The bears are coming out of hibernation pretty quick, within maybe now or in a week or
Yes.
two.
And people, it's already almost a little too late, isn't it? People need to be, they should have already got out there and checked for blinds before the foliage comes in.
Yeah.
Or they're able to see them.
Yeah.
And now if
Yeah.
the bears are,
Mhm.
did you
Yeah,
have,
people don't know too much in this area about blinds or pull downs or nothing.
you're teaching them? I think Jerry may have some questions or comments.
Well, we're glad to talk with you, and you're sharing all this information. We know your experience and that you do a lot of tracking up there and finding a lot of other things. So we want to thank you for sharing all this information. Was wanted to kind of check up on your neighbors also. I remember you was helping your neighbors, and wasn't there a group that you was also trying to give information to? I don't know if it was a church group or a community group, but some people were interested and some people weren't. Are they still?
Yeah, well, there's probably a couple of them in the watching this now. I let them know what was going on. My friend Brian, he has a kind of a meetup every month, just people talk about stuff.
Good.
That group, a bunch of us usually get together once a month for like a potluck, and we talk. And one of my friends there, Jeff, where we do this at his place, he's got activity right in his property there.
What kind of activity?
Well, last September, at one of our chat meetups, he said to me in early September, he said, "Bob, do you want to come up to the house this weekend?" And because I had mentioned to him, what I'd been doing, tracking and everything. And at the time, he's like, "Yeah, well, that's interesting, thanks for telling me." And a month or so later, he's asking me to come up to the place on the weekend. And I said to him, "Sure, okay, what's going on?" He was kind of in a hurry. So just quickly tell me what's happening. And he said, "Well, a few nights ago, Prince, my dog, was alerted to something at 3 a.m. He's up in the back of the property and he's crashing through the bushes. It's like he's searching for something, but he's not barking or anything." So I said, "Oh yeah, okay, that's interesting. Okay, I'll come up Saturday." So I went over to his place, and I had called you that day earlier to ask you how you started. So you told me, look around the bottom of under the windows for footprints, look on the walls for fingerprints and that. So I started there. I didn't see anything at his house. So then I started tracking up the right-hand fence line at his place. And, I found where something had pulled a bag of garbage onto his property and kind of spread it out. So I just said, well, okay, that's there. Maybe a bear did that. So he didn't even notice that till I pointed that out. So then I started up that fence line, and I found, weird trees that were signs of Sasquatch. I found those, an axe and a brake, and where the thing was broken, and then something was thrown over the top of the tree. So that was a sign, yeah. And then I'd found a footprint in the moss. And I always take a lot of pictures when I'm out there, because there's things in the woods that the native tribes describe as reporting spirits. And when I look at the photos, I can see these in the photographs. There's different faces. Sometimes you'll see a face, like a ghostly image of a cougar's face or a bear's face and just different faces. So that's why I take a lot of photos. And then I found a tree that was pushed down, like his land goes up 20 acres in the back, and it's got a road that goes up because it's all behind his place, it's all uphill. So he was up there on the quad, and I found a spot there. There was a tree down, and there were some branches that had been laid up against the tree. And you could see that if they were all needled, it was the perfect blind to be behind, and nobody would notice it.
Yeah.
So I jumped behind that, and I said, Jeff, you got a blind right here. And so he was surprised at that. And then I saw two old dead snags that were pushed up against a big, tall, like probably 80-foot tall fir tree. And they were pushed up, making an X there. So I took a picture of that, because that's a sign for sure. And then, you know, that's a picture from the park. Yeah, but that is an X.
Oh, you can see how good that one was.
Yeah. Yeah, that one I know they did that because I knew that site, because before I found you, I did what Scott Carpenter did about putting rocks down, because he would do that, and then the rocks would be moved around, and it was just kind of a way to find out, like, is there any, put the signs down, and then you come back and the rocks would be moved around, so he had an idea, okay, there's some kind of communication happening. So I'd put 3 rocks down on one of those logs, but I never had anything. Never had any communication back. But that was the site where I'd put the rocks. So when I saw that break, I knew what that was.
And so people know, we do not recommend trying to establish communication at all with any sort of, and I've done it in the past too.
Yeah.
And I hard way. No rocks, no food. No, they don't need it. They don't need it. There's plenty of sign out there. No whooping, no tree knocking. Okay, we got that out of the way.
Yeah, like my friend Brad on Facebook, when I had posted all the photos there of the park, Brad asked me, why did they do that? Are they establishing territory or hunting ground or something? So I didn't know what to say at that. So I thought about it for about a week, and then one morning I woke up, like kept a notepad on my nightstand, and woke up with an answer to that question. So I wrote it all down, and I started thinking, it's like the old saying, energy goes where attention flows.
Mm-hmm.
And I started thinking, I never went back up to the other side in the TFL after I rolled my vehicle. So they're looking for me now because I never went back there, and I think they wanted to keep that connection established to me. And so they put these structures up in my walking park, and they know that I know. This is what Scott Carpenter always said, they'll mark you as someone of interest. Mm-hmm. And they will let you know that they know that you know about them. If you go into an area, say if I traveled, a few hundred miles, he says, within 24 to 48 hours, those locals there are going to let you know that they're there. They'll put a sign out somehow. And like all of us, we know what the signs are, so we'll see these breaks or bends or whatever. So that was my answer to Brad. I think they want to let me know that they're in that area now. And they may have always been there because, as I told you last week on the phone about what had happened in this park last April. It was April the 5th. And that day of April the 5th, I was taking a shower at 2 in the afternoon. And I was going to go walking in the park there that you just showed the break. And I had a strange thought pop into my head. And I was thinking, why am I thinking that? And the message in my head from me is what it sounded like. It was in my voice, like, I need to protect myself when I go walking tonight. So I just thought, well, that's weird. Why would I think that? And I didn't do anything. I didn't take any protection. So I was up there at the viewing platform, and it was 7:30 at night, and out of my right eye, I catch a little bit of movement coming out of the trail, and I knew I was the only one in the park because there's no one in my area where I park, but there is another north entrance to that park, and there could have been somebody that had parked up there and walked down the canyon trail with their dog. And when I caught this movement, it was a tanned color, like a golden retrievers type color. And I thought, okay, well, somebody's dog's coming, somebody's walking. So, I take another look, and I was like, wow, it's not a dog, it's a cougar. So this young cougar, 18 months or so, still young, he comes trotting out of the trail there, and it seemed like he'd never seen a person before, so he was kind of shocked, and we kind of stared at each other, and I just put my hands up like, stop. Jumped up on the seat at the platform there, and I said, stop, go back. And so he sat down like a dog, like he was waiting for me to throw him a biscuit or something. And so I talked to him for a few minutes, and he stared at me, and then while we were sitting there getting acquainted, he turned and looked over his left shoulder, and I thought, wow, that's kind of odd and strange. It could also mean something dangerous, like maybe the mother's around, and could be more than one there. So he turned around and went back into the trail, and then I backed away, kept my eyes on him, backed away, and left. And then I thought about that for the last year, and since now the structures have showed up in the park,
Yeah.
I thought, maybe, like Jerry said many times, they will push animals out at you. If a person's in the woods and they don't know why you're there, and if you're armed too, they will push animals your way, like turkeys or hogs or deer, to see what you're doing there.
Yeah.
So I thought that maybe that was the case in that situation. They wanted to know how I was going to react. Was I going to show up armed that day?
What did you want?
Yeah.
What about orbs, crop circles, UFOs, anything like that going on up there in your area?
Oh, yeah. It was 2 years ago in May. There was a huge orb that flew not right over my house, but off towards the river a bit, and it was huge. It was probably the size of a small house.
Size of a small house?
Yeah.
I remember you talked about that.
Yeah.
What color?
Yeah.
Color?
White.
Could you see anything within it?
No. It was just like a huge white ball of energy.
Uh-huh.
And it came from the north and headed towards the northeast. And it was me and two other guys who were outside at our fire pit. And these guys were working on a pipeline crew and staying here with us. And, you know, we'd go out there and chat on their day off and have a fire, and they like to drink beer and everything. So we're sitting out there having a few beers, and I noticed everything. I noticed this thing coming off in the distance. So one of the guys, he had quite a bit of tequila, so he didn't remember the next day. But Donovan, the welder, he saw it, and I said, "Hey, look at that!" And it just kind of rolled across the sky and headed towards a small hill mountain there, and it didn't take off fast up into the sky or anything. It just kind of disappeared. Yeah.
How about other lights or crop circles or anything like that?
I haven't heard about any crop circles. A guy I know told me that there's a valley here south. It's called the Scodal Valley. And he said up in there, there's a lot of UFO activity.
Scodal Valley?
Yeah. Skoatl, I think you spell it. And it turns out that the Scodal Valley is on the opposite side of a major ski area here called Sun Peaks. And in February 17th of 2018, there was a young fellow there. He was 25, I think he was. His name was Ryan Shuka. And he was working as a ski lift operator there. And he disappeared up there one night, walking back to his apartment up in the village there after being at a small house party with some of his work colleagues. And they had a massive search for him, search and rescue, RCMP. They never found any trace of Ryan. And I was interested in that case because it was strange and it just upset everybody in the area. There's huge billboards on the highway with his picture. His family came out from Beaumont, Alberta, and they've been out many times. They come out every year, kind of hoping that something's found.
Do you mind if we show a couple of pictures and ask you about those?
I'm going to still refill our cup real quick.
Sure. Yeah.
But I want to ask you about this park. Is this close to you?
Yeah, that's where I've walked in that park since about probably 2006. So I know it very well. I know the area.
Have you ever been down in that area? Or is there any way to get down in there?
There is a trail that goes, it would be moving away from where we are now to the right. There's a trail that goes, it's a steep trail that goes down. I've never gone down into the bottom there.
But it goes down into that that pool of water where the...
Yeah.
Let me see if I can blow it up.
Yeah. Oh, down in the pool. No, I haven't been down in there. That's, you'd have to, you probably could get down in there further off to the left.
But do you see how all the trees are designed to get animals to crawl down in there and get water?
Yeah.
All the way from the side, the trees are laid a certain way, and then you got branches, and then you got that pole that goes right into the water.
Yeah.
That cave right there, that's where you would find quite a bit of them.
Mhm.
That's a safe place for them. And this park, does this surround you?
Yeah, that's just off of my parking area where I had parked on February the 9th. And this is the direction from which the lights came. So
Okay.
this was a picture that I had taken on the 10th of February, because this incident with the lights and the smell happened at 5:30 on Friday, the February the 9th. And I never went into the tree line to have a look, because I took that as soon as I caught that whiff of that perfume smell, I got out of there.
Oh, good.
But the yellow circle I have there, that was one of the most prominent faces that I saw there. And if you look closely, you can see the brow ridge, the eye, the nostrils, and the mouth and the teeth.
Yeah, I see that one that's kind of below it too. It's little.
Yeah,
more.
there's several. There's several in that photo.
Yeah, there sure is. There's even some in the back tree.
Yeah, just like they always do, they stack up.
Yeah. And in this same area where that, there's that bow of the tree that they jump over.
Yeah.
To impel themselves.
Yeah.
And you can see that's broken off, that tip.
Right.
And right between, or you see that hole? Right, could looks like a foxhole or something.
Yeah.
But that's observation area. It's just underground, so you could, if you ever got a chance to dig that up, and you'll find that it gets bigger.
Right.
But they watch that food area, and I couldn't really get a good look, but way in the back, I could see like two shapes, two dark shapes. But again, it was way back there.
Mm-hmm.
And also in that same area, you may have to let your eyes unadjust, but right next to the tree, it's the black area. I would say halfway up that tree, but it's past it. It's
a little bit past halfway. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see the face and everything. So there's always in those hunting areas. And you were showing us about, is this your backyard? I mean, well, we don't have to see it, but
this was a picture I took. That picture, I walked out there on the other side of the fence and took that at the ground level. But this is where, let's see, I made notes on all this. That was February. That was February the 15th. Yeah, well, I took this photo just the other day after I told you I was going to send you those. But on February the 15th, my notes here, I said I woke up early and went upstairs to check the wood boiler temperature. And then when I was looking out that kitchen window, I saw red eyes looking at me from outside the fence near the road.
Okay, was it that spot or was it this spot?
That's the same spot, but this is just a picture from the deck.
Okay.
In line with the where the kitchen window was. But this is just a close-up I took at ground level.
I was looking, I kind of blew it up a little bit, and I was looking at those darker areas. There's some on the ground level, and there's a dark on the kind of the top right, so I blew it up a little bit. And these are, I'm looking at ground level, like heads.
Right.
Just over that ridge. It's
you see that ridge is the road. So that picture that you're showing in the center there, that's in the woods on the other side of the road.
Yeah, yeah. It's a great place to watch you.
Yeah.
Just the head, just not a big body, just enough.
Yeah.
That's the way they used to do with me in the creek. The creek was generally shallow, but the banks were very deep because it was mostly a runoff creek.
Mhm.
And they could just stand in there and just look over the edges, just
So I was interested when I took these photos the other day at what level is the road at? So I used my laser level here. I put it on the road and I shot it at the house. And then I did it at dusk so I could see my laser light. And then I came to the house here and it was shining against the edge of the deck. So I measured from the ground to where my laser point hit. It was 9 feet. And when I looked out that morning, those red eyes were above the road by at least 3 or 4 feet, maybe 5. So that had to be one had to be anywhere maybe 15, 14 feet.
Yeah.
cleverly done
Or,
with your laser. Good job.
yeah. Actually, like when I heard you guys talking about the laser, and you could use it against the translucents, right?
Mhm.
If the laser hits them and they're translucent, it's going to disperse and you're going to see something.
Yeah.
So when I'm out at night now, I got my laser and I got my loaded shotgun. And first thing I do is I scan everywhere with a laser. I look up, shine up on the roof and everything.
Mhm.
Good.
Mhm.
Hey, how do the authorities act around there if anybody reports a Bigfoot? Does anybody give them a hard time, or is it accepted, or what's it like there?
I've talked to the police around here a little bit and dropped the idea in their ear. I don't know. I wouldn't talk to them too much. I did talk to one of the search and rescue guys up there in the park, my Sasquatch infested park, one day,
Mhm.
and I had told him what I'd been doing and what I'd tracked up in the TFL, and he told me about some of the missing people searches he's been on. And again, he's the second search and rescue guy I had talked to about the Ryan Shuka disappearance. And I asked him, did you guys ever find anything, any signs? And he said, nothing. Never found anything.
Wow.
The dogs never found anything. And then I told Wade what was going on and how I was tracking. And I said, I don't bother putting trail cams up or anything because they're just going to smash them or turn them around or something. I said, I do much better just with my regular photo camera, and then I just analyze the photos when I get back.
Yeah.
Well, they do. They know you like. I guess they know you like they would know us.
Yeah.
They know that we're observant and we're aware that they're around and we're looking for certain things.
Yeah.
So, like for us, we don't look for them close anymore. We
No.
look for them further because they know we're looking at a certain eye level, and we don't tend to look like with binoculars. So they've moved back, and they've done the same thing to you. I was gonna show you on your this is from your kitchen window, right?
Yeah.
And you, of course, you notice the places where like they try to get the deers to cross. Those the bent wire.
Yeah.
So they know you. So and they know that you're aware. So they're not now in that tree. There's an open spot about. I'd say it's about 9 foot or 10. Blow that up. Nope, wrong one. You see the big, is that a spruce or a cedar? Looks like
Yeah, there's a big cedar tree. The one there with all the branches, that's a maple tree.
Okay, okay. Do you see the green where they're jumping on both sides of that green cedar?
Yeah.
So they're using both sides of that, the deer, but
Mhm.
right above that first cedar, that first green one, there's a bare spot, and that's where it's looking. It's looking over that cedar, but it's using that cedar to catch the deer coming on both sides. But it's also able to watch the house, I noticed.
Mhm.
But also, so now I looked at this. Now I could see where it would hide behind that cedar and both sides because the deer would look for an easy way to get through, and that's an open spot, so they would be jumping that way. And where the fence has been pulled down and manipulated, but that's where the deer and they're feeding, but they're also watching behind that cedar. So we can expect that around nighttime or dusk is when they'll start moving in there. And they also have a certain step that they're stepping in because there's no new footprints.
Mhm.
They're stepping on the padded
Mhm.
the pine needles and stuff.
Yeah.
So we was like, well, they know that he knows, so they're going to be further back.
Yeah.
So in this picture, we zoomed in. We started looking in the background, and right there at the bottom, that dark spot at the bottom. We're gonna blow it up again.
Mhm.
I hope you can see
Yeah.
that you can see the eyes and the head tilted.
Yeah.
Yes, it's across the road. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, it's across that white road in
Yeah.
the tree line in that dark area. Watching from there, but it's moved back further, and there's something about the monitors or the monitoring spirits or the
How
reporting
did you put it?
spirits.
Yeah. Yeah. In that book that I've told you about several times with all the stories from all the native tribes, um, some pages back, I came across it in the book and it said reporting spirits.
Reporting spirits. Yes. So they'd also be known as monitoring spirits or
Yeah.
familiar spirits.
Yeah.
And during the daytime, you're gonna get those little ones. You're gonna get, I mean, even the small ones
Mhm.
monitoring or reporting, and they're just keeping tabs up. They're communicating with the other ones. It's like shift work. And if they're real noticeable up front to you, they're gonna back up, get smaller.
Yeah.
They are in that area, and we're glad that you're aware.
Yeah. The strain.
I was gonna say you're probably the only person who can help anybody in that area.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the challenges I have is just me by myself, and my protection, my spiritual protection. The stuff I've done, I would not recommend anybody do what I did.
Yeah.
It's in one sense, it's just crazy what I did. Like when you told me go and check in that area and I blasted my shotgun and everything and yelling at them. And then you told me I was walking right on top of them. There's right there, translucent or camouflage. And you told me that, the ground under your feet is going to be a little softer than the regular ground.
Yeah.
And here I am jumping all over their heads and blasting my shotgun and I don't have a point man. I don't have anybody watching my six, But when I did that, I knew, I guess inside, I knew that I had protection because of other things that happened earlier in my life. Like I've been shown things by God of things to come.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it was like, I didn't understand what that was until several years later. So I know now, I'm confident about what is going on out there and what I'm talking about because I've seen it. I've had run-ins with it, the supernatural abilities, you know, and I think they know what we're going to do before we even go do it.
Are they doing anything up there? You know, here they're pushing the fear greatly about the April 8th.
Oh yeah. I haven't heard too much about it. I did know there's Travis Carpenter had posted a little clip with L.A. Marzulli talking about the eclipse coming. I don't know what are they saying about that?
Just it's a convergence of different dates and times, both biblically and for unholy days on the other side, and that it's basically X marks the spot right over actually this area of Oklahoma and the Broken Bow area where they're expecting all the chaos and you know how it goes. Part of it is building up the fear, but they're going to take advantage of that situation by doing something over here, but that doesn't mean it isn't also going on. So just people have to be aware.
Yeah.
Also of the predators coming out with that dart because they're going to respond like they do in the dart, you know. Plus the high energy that's just it's a portal time.
Yeah.
So every energy practitioner, good and bad out there, is going to be trying to take advantage of that high energy time in some kind of way. And then it also is on Highway 144, which is a portal number, and it's pretty interesting how everything lines up. And then I think it's 7 cities named Nineveh that crosses, and it also I didn't get a chance to listen to L.A. Marzulli's thing, but did he talk about the letter that it made if it crosses? I'll send you a brochure or
We should have a stream on it.
yeah, we'll have time before that. Yeah. Definitely.
You good? All of us get together for that and talk about that.
See what we
Yeah, we do have more,
Well,
information about that too.
Important. And this does seem like every year feels a little more important than the last, you know.
Yeah.
As the times we're in.
And these things, they don't know what we're going to do unless we fall into a habit or a schedule or a routine. They know our patterns too, but if we're sporadic and if we do things, you know, all different times, they can't pinpoint it. But these things are predator opportunists. So the thing we're doing is taking that opportunity out of the equation, like dog food and things like that, and garbage and deterrence, really, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what we're trying to tell people. Yes, okay, you walked down the dark alley 7 times and you were okay, but you still increased your odds that the 8th time you're going to get attacked more. You know, we're not saying every single time you go into one of these structures you're going to get attacked. We're saying your odds are great if you're pitching your tent right there, an X and some bows and some structures and, you know, some stink. You might want to pick a different place. That's all we're saying. Be careful of predators, human, spiritual, and
And you said there was fog. I don't think you mentioned it this time, but there was fog whenever you had that accident. Or was that a different time?
It might have been a different time. I think it was one time we were driving back from town and I was teaching my mom about this. I said, you know, look at that fog there in that field. You know, there's no fog. Like, it's weird. There's fog in the field on that side of the highway, but on the other side of the highway, there's no fog. Just in that one field, you know.
You noticed that too, didn't she? Or
Yeah, she did. She's kind of slow coming along. Like, although she's had her own confirmation of stuff. Like that day that I was down at Jeff's place in the next town tracking, she was talking with Jeff's wife about in the past we've had bears come in the yard and turn over the compost bins, and she came home earlier than I did that day. And then when I got home that night, she said, something's been in the yard and pushed over the compost bins. 2 of them were pushed over. So I went out and had a look around and looked for footprints and that. I didn't see anything. And then that was a Saturday night. And Sunday morning when I woke up, she said, it's been back again. It's right outside. They pushed another bin over. So she left it over and I saw it tipped over. And it wasn't a bear that did it because nothing was touched. It just pushed it's one of those black compost things there, and it just pushed it over. It didn't rip all the pile apart or go through it or anything. So it was just a sign, right? And when she first told me that happened, I knew what it meant. And it meant, if you're going to come looking for us, and we're going to come looking for you. Just letting me know that we're watching you if you're watching us, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. I knew exactly what it was when it happened.
I wanted to read real quick out of the book, page 73, for those that don't know what we're talking about when we're talking about the fog. We're not talking about normal fog. This type of fog is also known as predator cloud spirits. They hide and use the fog they created by increased heat from their large, grotesque bodies. They cause a fog in cooler weather to hunt during the fog. These predator Bigfoots work when it is naturally foggy and add to the fog themselves. Be aware that not all fog is natural. Think of football players on a field in certain conditions when their body heat creates a fog, or when a person has a hot flash and steams up their own eyeglasses. Be aware of stringy fog, lingering fog, or fog that comes up suddenly and feels unnatural or moves directly towards you, your home, or your camp. Fog that suddenly surrounds your vehicle. Fog that takes on the shapes of silhouettes. And we're seeing more and more videos too of fogs and low cloud looking things that are just acting bizarre and rolling in and moving almost like orbs do.
Mm-hmm.
There's an increase in that too.
And a lot of people here don't know that you're also going to be proofing our new book, Vessels of Hope and Agents of Darkness, and a lot of things that you're talking about with the shapeshifters and things like that. It's in the book about how that's manipulated and how it's used and why it's used and things that we need to know about that. It's too much to put on here, and this is about you, but some of those things you're talking about is in that new book, and you're going to be the first to see all that information. And I can't believe that.
Yeah.
We appreciate you doing that too.
Yeah, when you're ready, just send me a copy and I'll go through it.
Now that the course is finished, and before we start the next one, we got a little chunk of time right here. We can finish it, so it should be coming along pretty quickly.
Yeah.
For anybody in the chat, we're going to run through and look and see if anybody has any questions or comments, and now's the time to put them in there. If you have anything that you want to ask Bob or talk about.
Yeah, Bob's he's a wealth of information, wealth of knowledge. So if there's any questions you want to ask Bob, I'm sure he has the answer. He's been doing it for quite a while. Also, he's with Sasquatch Awareness Project. You can also find him over there.
And Bob, we're trying to encourage him to
have his own channel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you would get that, we would be subscribed and
I looked at it the other day. I didn't was trying to put those interviews up with Father Malachi Martin, but rejected me because I had to identify. You know, when you start a YouTube channel, they want your phone number, so they only allow you, I think, less than 15 megabytes to upload, and the first file was 185, so I'll have to give it another go.
Little over limit, I guess.
Yeah. And another thing, Jerry, I'll let you know that I have most of your channel backed up.
Oh,
yay!
Wow.
Because we don't. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got most of the live stuff backed up, and just the other regular videos, I'm still working on those. So
Wonderful.
we're good there. If it goes down, got it all.
Wow.
Because we're hearing a lot has disappeared.
Yeah, we don't have information on this small computer, even all those photos I got. I just don't have room on. Right?
Yeah, I'll see about getting you guys a hard drive.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to run through real quick, catch up on the comments, and see what questions.
Yeah. Remember, everybody, questions in all caps.
Let's see. Truth Walkers. Let's see.
And there's a lot of trackers in the room too, so I would say even if there's not a lot of questions, it's because the trackers are, you know, up to par with you also.
Yeah.
Truth Walker says that was a great video. There were blinds and pull downs everywhere. War Chief says, good to see you, Bob.
Hey, there's War Chief.
Christian Pratt is here. Hey, Christian.
Let me see if I can put those.
Jim says the video is awesome. Judith Pineda says, hello, lead tracker or lead and Jerry. Greetings from British Columbia, Canada. Bless you. God bless you all. So she's from up there. Do you know her?
Who?
Judith Pineda. I didn't know Bob might know her. Graybeard noticed the bridge. Oklahoma Adventures is here, feeling strong. Lorna said, thank you for sharing, Bob. Rich P, hello, says, hi from Sierra Foothills near Yosemite. Very new to the whole concept. Recently bought the book and am reading now. Wonderful, Rich. After you're finished with it, if you would, put a review. We're particularly interested in how it applies to you in your area and what you see. Cube says, Bob, have you experienced a sort of whizzing in your head around these creatures?
No. Other than being hit with infrasound in the park a few years ago, and I had vertigo.
Oh, yeah.
Night Star says, Bob, have you run into pushback from people regarding your knowledge of these predators?
Well,
A lot. A lot, but I'm pretty good at crushing them.
You got to.
So if you guys ever need somebody I need to crush, just let me know. I just eventually beat them down till there's no argument left and they run away.
And haven't you noticed we have for sure in the last year that the tide has changed?
Oh, yeah.
And that
Yeah.
come out a little bit to pick on people, but it just takes very little and they back down, they go away.
Now.
And there's room for everybody. You go on over there in your channel, you don't believe the woo and stuff, okay, it's cool, bye.
Yeah.
Keep it in the back of your mind, just in case you run into the situations we're warning you about.
Yeah.
So you're not wasting valuable time wondering what's going on. File it, that little nugget. And,
And you know what I ask these people, like in a lot of the groups you'll be in, you'll always have somebody in there that always says, oh, this is fake and it's a figment of your imagination, it's all made up. And I just ask them, why are you here? Are you here to, and that's a great question because it really puts it on them. Like, are you here to learn anything or just to ridicule people?
stop us from talking, right?
Yeah, like if that's your hobby, like get another hobby. Like I don't join flat earth groups to tell people that believe in flat earth that they're crazy. I don't care what people think.
Yeah.
Right. That's a really good point. Yeah, not to go onto other people's channels bothering them. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shade is here, says
Shade
salute.
Viking, he says salute.
Rich
Salute.
Rich P says yes, we'll do. So he'll let us know about the book.
Oh,
what he
okay,
thinks.
okay.
And thank you also, Rich. And Jody Albrecht says, great share. Thank you, Bob. I grew up in Terrace, BC till 11. My father warned us of them and UFOs as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's
A lot going on up
activity.
there too. Yeah. Hey, Bob, did you get to see seemed like I saw you make a comment in one of them, but the Native American, the 3-part?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good. I wanted to make sure because I know
he had
that
the
you're making
Lakota.
context.
He helped them.
Oh, duh. I'm sorry, Bob. You're the one that got,
Fern. Yeah.
what was her name?
I introduced Fern to you.
No, besides
No,
we're going to get with her. We want to send her the book.
the Lakota woman.
We have it written down.
Oh, yeah. Stephanie. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. I'm sorry. Thank you for
Yeah,
saying that. I'm glad we talked about that because we got to do that at the mailbox.
Yeah, we just haven't made it to the right
We want to
time.
mail her the book, and thank you for doing that, for getting us in contact with her because she needs that information for sure.
Yeah. I joined a group a couple of weeks ago, and I started seeing there was a few ladies in there that were saying that they're having tapping on their windows at night. So one of them, I said, I told her what it was. And then Stephanie had sent me a message and told me what was happening around her area. And she asked me, am I in danger? And I says, yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are.
If you're seeing this sort of thing.
Outside at night. Yeah, I'd say there's something going on.
Like a big old tarantula come to find a mate. I mean, it's the same principle. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glad you're honest with her.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have time to beat around.
No, that's
No,
anymore.
we just don't. It's fine. Go on your way.
Like Jerry, I can totally understand your enthusiasm for all this because we're on a time frame. It's counting down, and this is what Father Malachi Martin had said as well. Like with the prophecies of Fatima in 1917, Malachi Martin was very close with the Pope, and he said that the Pope decided that information was not to be released to the people. And then I was surprised to find out that these revelations happened more than just at Fatima to those children. It happened in 1846 in La Salette, France. Same message. And then again, I think it was 1973 in Japan. And it's a warning to us about what's coming. If we don't turn back, there's going to be a judgment on all of us. And like Malachi Martin said, the politicians and the scientists will explain away in the sky that it's something else, And he had also said there is going to be 3 days of darkness. And spiritual darkness, and we're not going to be able to hide from it.
Mm-hmm.
Malachi, that was before the Mayan calendar prophecy also, right? Of 2012? Father Malachi?
The prophecy of Fatima with the children happened in, I think it was in Portugal in 1917. Okay. Children saw, I think it was the Virgin Mary in the sky, and they were told things about what was coming. And I think not sure if the last woman is still alive. She may not be, but the prophecy was very difficult for what was coming on the world if we don't turn back. And you can see that unlike Malachi Martin, he spent years at the Vatican, and he said that basically the church is going to be driven underground because they've slowly taken the church and twisted it so slowly that the followers don't realize how it's been inverted.
Oh yeah, inverted is a good word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we know from the book of Revelations that the end times are coming, but we got to also have that end before we can have the beginning.
We was talking about.
You just got to choose properly. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. We was talking about the mind calendar the other day, and we was saying that it's not like a Ouija board evil, but it's a story about evil.
Mm.
A lot of people don't want to really learn or know about it. So it's funny but not funny. But I'm thinking if you don't want to learn about the manipulation of the DNA and all these creatures here, then you're surely not going to want to open the Bible.
Yeah.
Because it's got demons, it's got giants, it's got man eaters.
It's just understanding their language and their story and their, what did they say? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just like the Illuminati decoding what they put out there.
So that
If you
Fatima,
know, it makes you safer. Not so that you can use it to hurt people. It's so that you know when they're talking to each other to hurt you.
Yeah, when they're planning on coming to feast, we would kind of like to want to know when that time is.
Thanks for the heads up.
Mm. Yeah.
But that Fatima prophecy, can you give us a short, kind of quick version of, because all the other prophecies are nothing good either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't read too much about it. I listened to those interviews with Malachi Martin. I got so many things to look at. Another thing.
Let's run through I think, make sure we got the rest. Oh, just one more from War Chief says, take from it what you will and leave the rest, as Steve Isdahl says. That saves a lot of arguing.
Yeah. And it's different with the interview with you because you know what you're doing. A lot of times we get the people who need help, but you're actually giving us information for what's going on up there. And
we already know what you're looking at, and
we appreciate this information. We apologize again for putting you off for so long, but we was trying to catch up with the class and the course.
Very patient.
And when
I know you guys are so busy. Yeah.
We appreciate that.
Rich has a question for you, looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Rich says there were 3 prophecies. 2 were made public about World War I and rise of communism. The 3rd prophecy was kept secret when the last child died, supposedly about the end of the Church of Rome. Thank you, Rich.
Mm.
Yeah, that would be the final 3rd secret that the Pope never released.
Mm.
And as Father Malachi Martin said, the Pope condemned over 1 billion people to a fate that they have no choice of by doing that. And this is why it's been released, or that information was given 3 times. Like I said, 1846 in La Salette, France, the 1917 one with the children, and then it was 1973 in Akira, Japan. And unfortunately, Father Malachi Martin swore an oath to the Pope that he would not say what it was.
Mm.
I would sure like to get a hold of his book, Windswept House, someday. I've been looking for it for over 10 years, I think.
You can't find a copy on Amazon at all, is it?
It'll justify the price of. One of these days, I'm gonna find one at a garage sale that nobody even knows what they have.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there's a good site called Abe Books,
Called
and
what?
Abe, like ABE Books,
Okay.
and what that does is the private booksellers and small bookshops around the world will list the books they have for sale on that platform, and you can buy it through them.
Okay.
I've found books that are out of print or rare. I got in touch with some people like in San Francisco that had them, and I bought them through them. So you probably find one there on a Windswept House on there.
Okay. Another one that I regret, I gave it to a previous pastor, and I don't think he was into it, was The Black Awakening by Russ Dizdar, and it's about the MK Ultra, and it's about the moment of the end times of the ultimate chaos kind of thing. And I can't find that book anymore either. It's out of print, and he's passed on. And so, but anyway, so
I know that says about the end of the Church of Rome. I know that also as a Mayan calendar in 2012, December the 12th, was that was supposed to be in the Judgment Day, but it's been halted. But also that that was the end of the Pisces time, which the church of Peter is under the Pisces time. So when we went into Aquarius, that church is not supposed to be anymore. As far as now, we're in the Aquarius time, and the Pisces time was about the two fish and the church. That could be a part of that, because they know that they had to change over in 2012, and that's when there was two popes at one time. Right at 2012, there's one up to the Pisces time, and then the Aquarius pope took over. But you know, the pope position is supposed to it's a lifetime position where they smash the ring and reforge it for the new one, but that didn't happen this time. They had two. So that could have been something that he had told as being the judgment time. And that's why we say we're in overtime. Mm-hmm. And that's again trying to get everybody prepared and ready. That in all the ancient texts, it says that we're already in the overtime time. So judgment can happen at any time. But I do remember that thing about the Pisces and the Church of Peter. When Aquarius takes over, that church was supposed to not be anymore. Now it goes into the Aquarius with the Aquarius Pope, not Benedict, Francis or something.
Yeah, that's the Pope now, Pope Francis. But like Malachi Martin said, we're facing a coming apostasy in the church. You know, there's a Pope coming that's going to be the anti-Pope. Like there's a huge battle going on inside the Vatican, you know. There's actually
the guards is everywhere. Mm-hmm. Every industry, every, you know, media, music, mm-hmm. Everything's being the royalty over there. They broke the wand and yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean there's actually two popes. Always, and I said this to my aunt one time. I said, you know about the white pope, but do you know about the black pope? Mm-hmm. And she was never heard of it. And I said, well, he's the Jesuit general. He's the black pope that's in charge of the Jesuit order. They call him the Jesuit general.
Oh yeah, and the black pope's supposed to be the last pope, right?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I know that if you look it up, you can look it up. You just look up just type in the black pope, and it'll probably take you a link to who the present Jesuit general is.
Oh, okay.
You'll see a picture of him.
Rich P says, Tracker E, believe it or not, Google Books has electronic copies of books no longer in print. You can have individual books printed off and sent for money. Maybe Father Martin's book is there. That's a good idea. I'll check that. Thank you, Rick. We have another intelligent person in the.
Yeah, I was going to say that when that 2012 happened, that was the changeover from Pisces to Aquarius. So everyone had to change over. So they changed over the Pope. So you had two, but now in the Aquarius time, the new Pope took over. And then, so they had to kill a prince. So Prince of the Purple Rain died the last day of April under the cherry moon, or the pink moss moon. And the last day of April was the last day of the purple color, which turns to black, which is death. Then they had to change over the king, the queen, and the princess. So with the princess, right after Prince had passed, Princess Leia had passed away. And then her mother passed away like 3 days after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now we've got the Pope's changeover.
Symbolism.
Yeah, they're not really their family, but they've got people already who's already a prince known, who's already a princess. And the mother of a princess is always a queen. So they changed that whole thing over by killing people who didn't know exactly what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
We're going on 2 hours and 22 minutes, Bob. So we'll.
Thank you for this update and all the information that you're sending from that area. We don't get a lot of information. We had people on the other day who pretty much said that there's no real missing people or things going on in that area.
They just didn't know how many were there that we've been told by.
Yeah, like you and
Vern.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like last week there, I was looking into the missing on Vancouver Island, and there's, just like Dave Paulides does, you have to look at, there's a lot of missing. So there's certain things that disqualify them as strange missing. There's people that go missing that, they just commit suicide or something like that, or but there's some weird ones. Like there was a lady back in 2014, Sylvia Apps was her name, and she was hiking alone in Strathcona Park, and they never found that lady. They found her backpack and her hiking sticks and I think maybe a phone, but she disappeared. They never found her. Yeah. And when I was looking on that missing BC site, down in Victoria where I was living, there was one I came across. It was a guy, they found his car with the door open, and it was at the beach, I think, and they never found him either.
Tracker B got a hold of us the night before last, it might have been last night, and said that there is a hunter there in her town again that got chased out of the woods by the Bigfoots. They're just really aggressive.
Everybody's reporting it, but not getting the news.
Yeah. So,
Jerry, did you have that picture that I had sent with that tree structure there in the park with a big sort of a rectangle with it up on the one end of it up on a stump?
No, that the structure that you sent in, the different kind of angles at it.
Yeah.
No, no, I sure didn't.
Let's see. Maybe I can show that one here.
hey, Doris. Doris is here. War Chief says, thanks so much, Bob. Take care, brother. You said you didn't get that one loaded?
Yeah, I
We'll try to do it next time, Bob.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Also, we're having reports come in, so we'll get with you on that one also for this other project that we're
Yeah.
working, that we kind of talked about. But
Yeah, we'll be getting a hold of you.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to look at it, you'll find a link. Actually, the link of all my photos with the tracking here in this park is up at Sasquatch Awareness Project. If you want to join
good.
there, you can see those. The pictures are all there.
And thank you for your tireless efforts, seriously. And you know, I always hear people saying that, but you just never quit.
Yeah.
You work hard to warn people and to see what's out there, and we see it, and we appreciate you doing that. You
Yeah.
make a difference.
You are. We're watching too. We
Yeah.
You're
say
doing a
too
good
much.
job.
We're still watching everything going on.
You know, like my mom told me recently, she said, "You do realize that this is a hobby, don't you?" And a hobby.
A hobby or is purpose?
Yeah, so you know, like I'm actually a naturally born stoic, and I've been that way since I was a kid. You know, I don't talk a lot. Sometimes I do. I'll drive everybody crazy talking. If I'm in the crowd that understands what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But so when she said that, I thought, you know, how do I respond to that? I can respond one of two ways. Either I stay quiet or I let out a big horse laugh, you know. Like hunting and tracking dangerous man-eating predators in the woods, I wouldn't consider much of a positive hobby.
Right.
No.
Just tell her, say no, mom or ma, no, ma. This is my work. I have a
Even though my mother and father have already passed, you know, before this got to this point, they still know I was telling the truth. I mean, they would say, you know, even though I haven't seen it, I believe you because of, you know, who you are. And everything.
Yeah.
She'll come along.
Yeah, she'll come along.
Yeah, she is slowly. She gets a little annoyed sometimes when like she said to me the other day, "You mean I can't go to a park? I can't go near the water? Can't walk in the woods?" And
just be careful.
I don't know. I'm just
looking at. Just pay attention when you're there. That's all.
Yeah, we had some friends visit today, and they had 2 kids, so they wanted to play outside. So I went outside with them. And I was just watching the area. You know, I would intermingle every now and then, play catch with baseball, but my job was to watch so they could have fun.
Yeah.
And we're not saying don't
have fun.
Don't have fun. Don't enjoy
nature.
life. Just be aware and, you know, take your precautions and enjoy it.
Just like you would in any kind of area. Just like they're telling everybody, get ready for Homeland Security type thing. You're in a crowd, see something, say something. Well, we're saying something. We're saying something.
Yeah,
it's
all
just
of us,
not about what you tell us we're supposed to say. You know, not you, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So.
You know, I think from what I can kind of understand, is there's people that are unsuspecting of anything seem to be it's like they have the ability there's, like you said, Jerry, about people being lukewarm. So if you're unsuspecting of things out there, can also mean that you are more easily taken by these things than ones that are aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen our DVD, but in there's a young man. He was from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Didn't know anything about Bigfoots. Didn't believe us about it. And we're in an area where we're actually doing some night exercises. He comes walking through the woods in the dark. He knows his way through that path. But while we're watching the hot spots and getting them closer, he comes walking through the woods, and we're going, who is that? What's going on? And we finally got him to come over, and we're showing him, look, these things are right out here. Here's the night vision. Look, and he got nervous after that. He finally had his first sighting, but after that, he stayed close to us because he's seen what was going on.
He was the one that said maybe it was a bear, like it was 3 big bears all huddled up together.
Yeah, but he got nervous after that. He stayed close to us after that, but
Yeah.
we that's just
Yeah.
people just don't seem to realize that these things are real, that they're right there, they're around the homes, they're around the food places, they're pretty much everywhere we've been.
Mhm. Yeah, people don't want to acknowledge it. You know, I think this scares them, and they figure that if they don't see it, then they don't have to
Deal with
face
it.
the reality of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they don't want to change their lifestyle, you know, like still
That's
want
it.
And Cubanator says, I think we all have to be vigilant wherever we are because the times because
The times of evil.
times evil are increasing. The times of evil are increasing.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. Everywhere we've been.
Do you have any yeah, Rich P says armor of God, folks. Absolutely. Do you have any final things that you want to say to anyone?
To all the
till next
viewers,
time,
yeah,
to
to
the
all
viewers.
yeah, just be careful out there and watch your children.
Mm.
When I met you both, this was a real eye opener to me because I didn't realize that these things have a demonic influence. So I got a crash course in Sasquatchery and demonology. Like when you told me how to cleanse the area and I smoked this place out with cedar, I forced something out of here because for a couple days after that, I had all these little birds flying against my window right here and dying.
Wow.
It's just the strangest thing. All these birds kept hitting the front of the house here and dying. So I stirred something up.
Yeah, or these things were throwing birds at
And
you.
then, but it got past that point, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
just part
all
of the
like
purging, getting things out,
in
and
the
also
beginning.
important to say in the name of Jesus, not
And like you said, a crash course. It was
Yeah.
it's like you came in and had to go right to work. There was things
Yeah.
that you take care of.
You did
Yeah.
it.
But you did it.
And we appreciate that you're such a scrapper and that you
Yeah.
never give up. We really like that about you, Bob, and that you
Yeah.
just move forward no matter what anybody thinks. You just keep going, and we like that.
That's right. Yeah.
JR says loggers are out early and are usually out of the woods by 3 p.m.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Cube says, thank you, Bob, for telling it as it is. Yes, these creatures are demonically influenced and embodied.
Mm-hmm.
Night Star says, I call Jesus all day, every day. Good.
There you
It says, next time I hope I catch the start of the stream, not 90 minutes in. We do too, but it'll still be there. So be sure you go back. And then also there's several hundred videos, and there's a lot on the channel too. So we're glad you're here. Come back.
go.
And War Chief says, knowledge is golden. That's right. So we'll go ahead and say prayer, and also everybody hit like and sub and all that stuff, so more people find out what they need to know.
But we'll be in touch, Bob, and
Okay.
we got some things we need to talk about also.
And thank you to everyone that viewed. Thank you for everyone that's understanding and patient in our chat, because we don't run our chat like everyone else. And thank you for just understanding how we do it and handling it that way with us. And Bob, thank you. Good to see you again. We'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
take care. Be safe.
Yep. Sure.
Father, we love you, and we thank you for this opportunity, and we pray that the things that we do are always pleasing to you, and we thank you for our friend Bob, and we pray your protection over him, over his property, his car, his mother, and just that whole area, Lord, and put him in the path of anyone who needs that help from him and that guidance on what to do, Lord. There's people missing and disappearing in his area, and help those people to be found, in some kind of way and prevent any more losses, Lord. And just let the truth get out there so that more people are safe, Lord. People have the right to be warned. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 You sent that right to you, Bob.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Not Stars.
Appreciate you.
All right. So we're going to close up, Bob, but we will be in contact.
Sure.
Thanks
And the new looks good on you. You look healthy and you look
you do. You look healthy.
good. That's
you
a good
do.
style.
Yeah.
Strong.
You know, one thing I noticed with this, with it recently up there at that park, I wasn't thinking about it very much, but as soon as I started thinking about it again, I started getting dreaming again at night, and I could tell that I was getting pressure because like the guy I talked to at the local native tribe, he said, you know, you don't want to talk about them too much and think about them because that attracts them too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I did notice that.
Yeah, that too, but they're everywhere too.
Yeah.
We got to get rid of
But
all
you do
of them.
have to have balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. You
You're
do
right.
still have to do things and have fun and enjoy your family and do all that
yeah.
kind of stuff. You know, it's
Yeah.
I would
you can
say,
become obsessed and drawn.
I would say we're
to
the
you.
people who let other people have fun.
Yeah.
He'll say sometimes, like he just goes around 10 times a day. He'll say, "All I do is work."
All I do is work.
And I'll say, "You love it," and he
I
said,
said,
"Yeah."
Like, I can't go swimming with everybody. I got to
So
work.
it's okay. We love it. So thank you, Bob, and thank you
Okay.
for helping to take care of the Scott's channel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have a good evening.
All right.
Good
We'll
night.
see.
Okay.
Bob.
Thanks. Yeah. See you later.
Okay. Are we moving?
So beautiful.
Are we moving?
So weird. The effect's not quite the same on film. So we're on our way in a snowstorm to go try to find someone that's lost in the woods. You'll say a prayer.